All right, what's going on, Legion fans? I know we said we're going to be called liars. We said we were pulling back.
We are.
And we are technically pulling back.
We're pulling back.
We have 3 episodes coming out this week.
What?
I know. Wait, listen, this is just like in the past. You were like, we can do 2 episodes. And I'm like, no, I don't think we can. And then we started doing that. And now, I mean, we have
fair.
3.
It's not fair.
What's not fair?
James Gunn put out The Suicide Squad.
I know, James Gunn. How could you? How could you put out a good movie?
He put out a good movie.
We had to watch it.
I know.
We have to watch it.
He put out a new movie with The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And it came out on HBO Max.
And you have HBO Max.
And I have HBO Max.
And I watch HBO Max at your house.
We didn't have a choice.
We did.
Our hands were tied.
So we had to do it.
We had to be able to do what is shaping up to be a comic perfection on The Suicide Squad.
Oh, don't give it away.
I'm going to give it away.
Okay, give it away.
It's a perfection.
It was so good.
It was so good.
Plus,
it
we
was
had
really good.
Plus, we had drawings of me as Weasel and you as King Shark. We couldn't just let that go away.
I mean, that was random.
What were the chances?
You were
just randomly
doodling.
there.
You were just doodling for those, right?
Yeah, but now we can't let them go to waste.
Yeah. I mean, they're there.
All right, so we are doing our comic review of what happened, and this is a comic perfection for
this
James
is a
Gunn's
great movie.
The Suicide. Is it The Suicide Squad or is it The Suicide Squad?
Potato.
Okay. All right. So I think I'm probably switch back and forth as we go.
Just go ahead.
The Suicide Squad.
Actually, sir, I believe it's The Suicide Squad.
You know, after I said I think it is the. Yeah, that sounds way better. The Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad. Though, did you hear that James Gunn gave credit and thanks to David Ayer in the credits?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, for his Suicide Squad movie. Yeah, just for thanks for because they brought Harley Quinn over and they brought Captain Boomerang and stuff like that, and Rick Flag and Amanda Waller.
Yep.
So, but he added.
There are aspects of it that I'm sure he pulled from. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, so this is The Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad. And spoiler alert, there are spoilers from here on out. We are doing a spoiler review.
There's going to be spoilers, guys.
And
let's just
you heard it. It's a comic perfection.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about why it's so good, because it's so good. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah.
Go see it now. You could literally, if you're at home, if you're watching this at 2 a.m, movie theaters aren't open, but you could go on HBO Max.
You can go on right
and you
now,
can watch
and
it.
you should.
And then you should get up, and
I don't
if
care
you
what
feel
time it is,
comfortable,
where you are.
go watch it in the theaters if you feel
That's right.
comfortable, because it's a big blockbuster summer movie, and it's James Gunn all the way. I mean, it feels very much like a James Gunn, party movie. Like everybody, the big groups together, and it's a lot of action, a lot of fun. Don't take your kids to see it though. It's very vulgar.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean it's very gory.
Yes,
that
lots
goes
of guts.
along with it. It lives up to the rated R rating.
Yeah, lots of language too. So if you don't like language, and if you don't like guts,
I think it was. This is the Suicide Squad movie.
Oh
that
yeah,
we had
100%.
So let's jump in. Let's dig into our Carnage report.
All right, so Carnage Report, as always, we talk a little bit about what the movie made. We talk about what the reviews are like. We talk about who's in the movie, and we talk about where it got its source material, if it got any source material from any material.
This one had a lot of source material.
This one did, yeah, and we like that.
Yep.
All right, so obviously this is a new movie, so it looks a little bit different than our older movie corrections, but opening weekend box office actually wasn't very good.
What?
Which is really surprising, but I
think,
well, here's the problem, is that I feel like a lot of people watched it on HBO Max, and there was no extra charge for it. So like at Disney Plus, you get that premiere access, you have to pay for it. And so I think it kind of offset it. So
one of the things that I did see in terms
little bug.
There
was a bug crawling on your table. I got it with my hand.
Good. The one thing I did see about this on HBO Max. Now, HBO Max has not been out very long. We know that.
Yeah, they're
so it
pretty
has
new.
a short time span.
Yeah.
So when I say this, take this with that caveat.
Right.
This was their second most downloaded movie of all time.
Oh, I guarantee.
So in their opening weekend, second most watched movie on HBO Max of all time for them.
What was the first? Oh, Snyder.
It was
the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, it was the Snyder Cut.
Which is a shame, because even though the Snyder Cut was good, this was better.
This was better.
But
so
maybe it'll keep going.
So
it's gonna keep going.
So what were the?
All right.
So those were the download numbers on.
Yes.
Or the streaming numbers on HBO Max. But what are we
so
talking
again,
about?
That proves the point that this was a well received movie. It just wasn't a well box office movie because people stayed home and watched. So like we have a lot of downloads.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a good argument. And here's the reason why. You're right. There was no upcharge for it on HBO Max, which does hurt it a little bit.
Yeah, cuts it down a bit.
However, you look at something like Black Widow. Black Widow not only performed at the box office, but it also performed with the upcharge on Disney Premiere.
Yeah. Which you also have to
I
look
don't know
at.
if that's fair. So that's disappointing to me because this is worth the watch.
Yeah, but it's a DC movie. You know how many times DC fans have been burned?
You're right.
So I bet you there's. I wonder if the next weekend will be better.
Yeah.
Once people realize it's a good movie.
Once the word continues to get out. So that's a good example of that is.
Yeah.
Avatar actually outperformed in its second weekend compared to its first weekend because people didn't know what it was until it really came out.
And then it
started really gaining traction. Avatar's performance over weeks is the anomaly compared
it goes
to
up
most.
instead of down.
Exactly.
Weird.
And it's incredibly strange. It trends up first, and then its downward trend is so gradual compared to other movies.
Yeah.
It's insane. Normally a movie takes like a 200% dive from its opening weekend to its second weekend. That is not the case with Avatar, so it'll be interesting to see if this can make that sort of jump.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, it only brought in $26.5 million.
Wow.
So pretty low end.
That is really bad.
That's domestically. Globally,
That's really bad.
Everything, they more than doubled it overseas. So globally, they got 72.2 altogether. So 72.2 altogether.
Okay.
With domestic and foreign.
That's
put together.
That's
72.
still not good.
Yeah, no, it's not, and it's very surprising because again, this movie has been, it's gotten good ratings.
But this is what directors are really concerned about. Okay, especially the HBO Max directors. They have been concerned about what will happen to the critical acclaim, what will happen to the box office gross, and I know it's to some extent it's about concern about like what's going to happen to the money that goes into their pockets, but on another scale, like these are great movies that are potentially not getting the recognition that they deserve, because it's not being released exclusively in theaters.
Yeah, so it had a $175 million budget.
That's insane.
That's nuts. I mean,
that's really
we've
bad.
talked about it. They want to double. By the time they're done, and so like they were, I'm sure they were hoping for
most
like
movies
$250 in the first weekend.
Well, they shoot to try and at least make their budget back in the first weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the goal.
Like if this is a good movie, you're looking for $250 in the first weekend.
And that's a shame because this is a good movie.
Only pulled in 72. So
I know this is a problem.
Yeah,
and you know what? This makes me even more worried about Dune.
Oh,
because this is the
same
concern that Denis Villeneuve has said about it being released on HBO Max. And the directors not having any say in what would happen. Yeah. That is a shame because this is a great, great movie.
Yeah, so we'll go to the reviews. Speaking of why we think it's so great and why we got kind of evidence that is, before we do our cast.
Yeah, because we're not like
out
on a
just
limb
us.
here.
Like,
it's not just us saying
we're
this
not
and it's
niche
like,
group.
Why did it make nothing? Well, it's clear they're clearly wrong.
Right,
no, we've got some backup here.
No, critics with about 270 reviews from Rotten Tomatoes gave it 91%. So it's got a 91. It was at like 96 for a while.
It was at 97 at one point.
Yeah. So it's really, really good. Audience score over 1,000 verified raters. It's down to 84, which I was surprised at, but it's still pretty good. Still fresh. Still good.
Movie rating.
One of the best DC ratings we've gotten for a while since like the Nolan trilogy. There haven't been a lot of good DC rated movies. So 84 for audience, which again, it's good, and I think that's good enough to at least make back $175 million.
Listen, those ratings do not equate to a $72 million opening weekend.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That doesn't add
crazy. Yeah. Well, anyway, star-studded cast. James Gunn brings in not only previous Suicide Squad members, like we talked about, but also a lot of new faces and a lot of heavy hitters. So we get Margot Robbie returning as Harley Quinn, which is great. We get Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller.
I think that's actually the best return. Many people will say
great.
Margot Robbie.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I am actually,
Viola
had
Davis
they moved on from Viola Davis as Amanda Waller,
you can't.
I would have lost my mind.
Yep. Yeah,
she is
really
the perfect casting for that role.
Oh, yeah, she's wonderful. And then we get Jai Courtney coming back as Captain Boomerang. He lasted for like 10 minutes.
3 seconds.
Yeah, he was there. He was in the movie for maybe 10 minutes.
Yep.
And he had like 3 lines.
Yep.
And then he got a whole bunch of spikes through his face.
We did
get
to see that boomerang
once.
cut some people up.
It cut a dude's head in half.
In half.
Like in the head,
but
like slid off
I
the
feel
side.
like that is
crazy.
the only thing that actually happened here.
Not
you know,
much.
like in Suicide Squad, he only ever used the boomerangs to like knock out some cameras.
And didn't they like attach a camera to it and
they
throw
attached
it, and
it,
which doesn't make any
to
sense
be able to see what was going on
because the footage would like
it would spin.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
And Joel Kinnaman also came back as Rick Flag. So, and again, I actually, if I'm honest, I don't mind being honest about this because I already was. If you go back and listen to our other podcast, I didn't really like him as Rick Flag in the first movie. I thought he did fine with what he was given, but I thought his character was just written really terribly.
Yep.
I liked him a lot.
A lot
in
better
movie.
in this one.
I liked him a lot.
They
in
wrote
this
him
movie.
a lot better in this one.
Yeah, his death really hit me.
It
like,
did.
I was really sad.
It
did. Really frustrated when he died. And it was a total Mortal Kombat fatality.
Had they killed him in Suicide Squad,
oh yeah,
more than a batted nine.
I would have cheered.
More than a batted nine.
I probably would have
cared at all.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah.
No, but it was like we got to see a lot more kind of layers of him.
Yep.
And doing the whole his connection to Idris Elba's character of how they were old war buddies
they were
and
old
stuff.
war buddies. Yeah,
like
he recommended Bloodsport to the squad.
It gave a lot more depth to him, and then his desire to hold truth and honesty above what his government was telling him to do, and dying for that just made him a much more likable character than the dude who like fell in love with the bad guy. And then
he was the bad guy. He was the bad guy in Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, he was.
In this one, he was actually seen as a true hero.
Yeah, and even John Cena, Peacemaker was like, I could even kill a hero like you. Like he recognizes him as like an American hero.
Right.
Which
and
is
the
great.
reality was in the first one, you despised him for what he did to the villains, which is like that's not a gray area you really want to be in.
Yeah, I didn't like his character arc in the first one, but this one we'll talk about in the review. But I mean, all those arcs are great. So we get a lot of new blood in here. Most of them don't last more than like 20 minutes.
Wow.
But,
I mean, I am so
I can't believe how many people they killed off and how quickly
by
they
the
killed them
beginning
off.
of this movie.
Oh, it was the best. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. So we got Idris Elba coming in as Bloodsport. We get John Cena coming in as Peacemaker, even though I didn't see him the whole movie, but it is what it is. We get Michael Rooker as Savant, which is great. We get Nathan Fillion. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
I just got your joke. You can't see me. It just hit me. It just hit me.
Oh,
you
my
said
goodness.
it so dryly and moved on.
I just moved on.
That was so good. Oh, that was your best joke ever.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
that was great.
I've been working on it.
Oh my gosh.
We get Nathan Fillion.
I'm gonna die.
We get Nathan Fillion as TDK or the Detachable Kid.
Detachable Kid.
We get Flula Borg as Javelin.
Yep.
We get Pete Davidson as Blackguard. We get Sean Gunn as Weasel. We get Mei Ling Ning as Mongal.
Yep.
Is that I mean, there were so many people. Oh, and then of course Sylvester Stallone as King Shark.
There's too many people in this movie.
There are way too many people in this movie. But there are some that I realized like I didn't see in there, and they're not on the front. Okay. We also have Peter Capaldi as the Thinker.
Right?
Yeah. He's a doctor, isn't he?
He's a doctor.
Who?
Yeah. He's a
and then we have one more. Oh no, two more. I'm sorry. Daniela. I'm gonna completely ruin her last name. I'm so sorry because I love her as an actress. Melchior as Ratcatcher 2. I'm not sure how to say that last part, but she is phenomenal. And then there's one more. Let's see if I can find him. Where's Polka Dot Man? There he is. Oh man, this dude's why? I know you're so good with names. You should be
I am
doing
not
this.
good with names.
I'm worse.
Nope.
All right, so David Dastmalchian, as Polka Dot Man, he's also he's been in like everything. He's in Dune. He's in the Dune movie, and he's also one of the ex-cons from Ant-Man who helps Paul Rudd start up his business. So he's been all over the superhero.
He's like that random guy in
movies.
things.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So huge cast. Most of them dead in the first like 20 minutes. Which is great.
Love that.
Yeah, it's so
I
great.
love that.
All right.
They die so quickly, and they had such
that's
big
our first
names for them.
That's our first thing. But we got one more thing before we get there.
Ahead,
I know.
I know.
It was such a good movie. It's so hard not to talk about. But we will soon. Last thing, source material.
Yeah.
James Gunn is a self-proclaimed comic book nerd.
He calls
loves it.
people out.
Oh yeah.
When they try to put him on the spot on like Twitter, the one person who had called him out for saying like Bloodsport would never shoot Superman.
He
with
could never shoot him with a kryptonite bullet.
It's from the comics, guys.
Yeah,
Come on.
He posted the comic.
If you're
going to
call somebody out, you better at least know what you're talking about.
No, James Gunn is he is the master at this. So he really loves the source material. He's said in interviews he was a big Starro the Conqueror fan as a kid. Because it was one of the comic books that creeped him out the most.
It's super creepy.
They're so creepy with it sitting on their faces and controlling them, mind controlling.
Eye,
that
looking
one,
around,
like, bullseye
wobbling.
eye. So he went with Starro the Conqueror, who appeared first in 1960 in the Brave and the Bold issue number 28, which actually, fun fact, is the first big villain that the entire current Justice League fought.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. So he brought Starro the Conqueror in.
And instead they sent in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was great. I didn't mind how they ended up winning.
No, not. I agree.
But he also teased himself that James Gunn teased that he was using the 1980s Suicide Squad revamp that was created by John Ostrander. And that run actually showed Task Force X going into a fake
foreign country.
It was a made-up island country. It's not the same country that they used, the Corto Maltese.
Corto Maltese, no.
But it was its own country. And they went in there to gather a Black Ops mission, destroy information within an enemy stronghold called the Jotunheim.
Yeah,
so it's the same thing. I mean, they do the same thing
exactly
here.
Right.
They go
exactly
to Corto
right.
Maltese.
I mean, the only difference here is he pulls in Starro the Conqueror, and why wouldn't you? If you had the opportunity to make a decision on what you wanted to do with a movie,
which DC villain you wanted to put in there?
He's gonna pick that, and I mean, that's a dream come true. That's amazing.
Yeah. You know what I want to see him do next? I want to see him tackle. I want him to be in charge of whatever. Did I just cut us out? I got us back.
Yes, you literally could hit
I'm
anywhere.
Swinging my hands around.
You are literally right over the wire. Anywhere but the wire.
Chop. I want to see him. I want to see him in the chair when they do Brainiac.
Oh, that would
but
be
like
good.
the big brain, like when he comes in, he's got his whole fleet and everything, and he's like the giant,
like in the video game that they're putting out. The Suicide Squad
exactly.
Video game.
That kind of a Brainiac. That
would be great.
That. Anyway, all right. So we got great casting. We've got great movie. We've got great content, source material, and let's talk about our comic perfection.
Yeah. So the first thing that I love about this movie is half of the Suicide Squad, if not 3/4, is dead in the first 20 minutes of this film.
Yo, high stakes, man.
This is real high stakes.
He promised us at the beginning.
Do not get attached.
Don't get attached to anybody.
Nope.
And he kept saying that over and over again to the point where I was like, he's probably not going to kill anybody. Like, it was like, what is he really going to do? Does he... But then he went the other way. He killed like everybody.
And this was something you and I remember right before the film.
Oh,
I actually
we were talking
stepped
about it.
back and I said, I am willing to bet that this is not what they do throughout this movie. Is it's not the same Suicide Squad in each of parts of the mission, which is exactly what they did.
Yep, two parts of the mission,
broke up
2 teams.
2 parts of the mission, 2 teams, one led by Rick Flag, one led by Bloodsport. And they did not know that the other was there. Which just goes to show Amanda Waller's like sinister compartmentalization and just like utter lack of care about anybody's feelings
Yo.
or regard for human life.
He dug into her disregard. Like, I feel like in the first movie, we saw her disregard for the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
And
and her own team.
At
She
the very
shot
end, she
her
shot her
people.
own team. But like, this was like, she was like, "Yep, we'll kill kids. Yep, we'll kill family. Who cares? We'll just kill everybody as long as my team comes out on top."
Right.
Like, it was like, oh man, she like dialed it up. It was nuts.
So immediately we start off the movie eyes on Savant.
Oh yeah,
Like,
of course.
thinking
And it's Michael Rooker, who is like
Michael Rooker
one of James
is
Gunn's
going to carry
favorite
something
actors.
like major in this film.
Oh yeah,
And then they pan out, and he joins the team.
yeah.
And it's all of these other characters that we've been looking at, that we've been excited about. We've talked
Yeah.
about Javelin. We've talked about he joins Harley Quinn. She's back on the team.
She's with him. TDK
is there. Which is
Weasel's
Nathan
there.
Fillion, who is not a small actor.
No,
We've seen
Nathan
him on
Fillion's
Firefly. We've seen him on Castle.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big name actor.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson is there randomly. Like, kind of fun.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's coming up
He was
as an
great.
actor, so it's like great to have him there.
Yeah.
And then we got a giant weasel.
Yeah, James Gunn's brother.
Yeah.
Sean Gunn
So,
is
like,
motion
we've got
captain.
a team.
Yeah.
We've got an actual task force team.
Yep.
And he just kills them.
Yeah. Everybody except for
Rick Flag
Rick
and
Flag
Harley Quinn.
And
Even Captain Boomerang.
Well,
they kill him immediately.
the best part of this, though, is that I've been saying since we've been talking about doing this, and James Gunn has announced it, I've been saying, Weasel better not die. Weasel's going to live. Everybody else is going to die.
I was so excited in the beginning.
And then the beginning of the movie happens, and they throw Weasel
They throw
all
him
of them
in the water.
out of the plane into the ocean.
He
and
dies
he can't swim.
from lack of research.
He drowns.
He dies from lack of research.
Like, nobody checked if the
and
Weasel
then
could
he
swim.
doesn't die.
And then the very end, the first stinger is him waking up on the beach.
Which is phenomenal,
He
which
missed
is
the whole
exactly
movie.
what we said. It was like, he's not going to be, he's going to die.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be the one who actually ends up surviving. He's the only one. And he wasn't the only one, but my gosh.
I was both right and wrong about Weasel.
Both
because
completely
he was
right
dead
and completely
for the whole
wrong.
movie. And
Dead
then he
the whole
woke up.
movie.
I love that, though. He, like, coughs awake, and then he waddles into the
Waddles
forest.
off.
It's like,
Yeah.
well, we got that mass
Some of the
murder
best
out there in the
lines
jungle.
are around Weasel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when
Is this a dog?
is this a dog?
Is this a dog?
And then he freaks out.
It's
'cause
a
he's like,
werewolf?
it's a werewolf? He's like, no, he's harmless.
He's a...
Well, I mean, he's not totally harmless. He's eaten like 27 kids. But we think we have him on board for this mission.
Yeah, I love it. We think we got him to agree with this. So good. But yeah, so they jump on the beach, and literally Captain Boomerang, Pete Davidson's character, I can't remember his name now. It's in my head.
Black.
It's I don't remember. I didn't close. I kind of closed it. Blackguard.
Yeah,
You were right.
Blackguard. I told you.
So Blackguard. Yeah. So we got There's so many names.
He betrays them and gets
Yeah,
shot in the
Blackguard
face.
just betrays him. He gets his face blown off.
It is the funniest first 20 minutes of a movie I've seen in a long time.
Javelin dies. Mongal dies. Weasel is dead. Savant tries to run, and Amanda
they blow
blows
his
head
brains
off.
out.
Right, Captain Boomerang dies, gets all the spikes
gets
thrown
blown
into
up
him.
and has tons of spikes shot into his body.
TDK gets shot.
Oh my gosh!
They shoot up his arms first.
It
and
is
then
the best death.
Laying on
That
the floor,
is the
dying.
best
Yeah.
death. They shoot his arms and he's dying
From
across
lack
the
of
screen.
loss of blood or whatever.
Yeah, or just having his arm shot. It is insane. This is the worst.
So they're all dead.
That is quite possibly
a
worse superpower than Quill.
TDK's
superpower is probably
I don't know.
worse.
It's got more long distance than Quill does.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. That is got to be.
Though.
He just slaps people in the face.
Oh, it's great.
Oh my gosh, it is a beautiful, chaotic,
so they all
disastrous start to a movie.
And then it switches to the far beach, and
right.
the other team is coming out of the water.
Right.
And it's like, oh. Like,
I guess the movie
team.
is actually about this team.
About this team. And then it is. The majority of that team is who we stick with.
But it's still super high stakes the whole rest of the time.
Well, yeah, so that he picks a team. He kills a whole team pretty much.
Right.
And then he picks a team to stick with. But that team is not guaranteed. And in fact,
most of them die.
Quite a few of them die. So
some that we kind of expect.
The main team is Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher 2, Peacekeeper, or Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Bloodsport, Harley Quinn, and King Shark. Oh,
Yep.
and then Flag as well.
Yep.
Flag
Yep.
as their good guy.
De facto leader.
Right. And so we lose Rick Flag.
Yep.
We lose Polka Dot Man.
Yep.
Is that it?
Well, we think we lose Peacemaker.
Right. We thought we lost Peacemaker, but then he
Yep.
comes back.
So only the 4 remain.
So 4 remain, and we really thought King Shark was going to be dead.
I thought King Shark
when
was
those
going to
water
go
things
when
were
the
eating him.
water
Yeah. But this
things ate him.
This is what the other Suicide Squad didn't do, and what actually you've talked about that a lot of comic book movies don't have the guts
They don't
to
kill
do.
people.
Where like
Kill them.
You guys the whole time, like literally in the last like 20 minutes of the movie, Polka Dot Man gets stepped on and like squished, like crushed.
Yeah, crushed.
And it's like, oh my goodness. And then like right before that, Rick Flag got a giant piece of metal through his heart. And it's like, we're not out of this yet.
No.
Like, we could lose any of these people. They could
You
all
knew Polka
be
Dot Man
dead.
was going, though. The second, I'm a hero!
Yeah, when he finally says,
Boom!
My favorite part of Polka Dot Man, though, I gotta say, is that everyone looks like his mother.
Oh,
Like, it's how
yeah.
he copes.
Oh, it's
And
great.
so he looks up and Starro becomes his mother. It's like
Yeah.
a giant, like, 30
well, no,
foot mother.
it wasn't. Bloodsport had to remind him.
Yeah, he told him,
that it
that's
was
your
the
mom.
that's
He's
your
like,
mother.
Hey, guess who that is? It's your mom. It's like, that's so great, though.
Yeah.
I love the scene where they're in the club dancing,
Yeah.
and it goes to Polka Dot Man.
And it's
and
all
of it is just his
Listen,
mom dancing around him.
that is there's a lot of cringe-worthy pieces in this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Which is also like you have to have a certain type of dark humor to have.
Oh,
to go
sure,
along with
100%,
this.
and to like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Because there's a lot of disgusting and
Yeah.
dark and cringy pieces to this movie.
Yeah, James Gunn does a really good job, though, and he does the same thing
He
in the
really
Guardians
towed
movie.
The line. He really towed the line.
Oh yeah, but he does a great job in that. He takes a break from the serious and the action to give those really well timed out funny moments. Like I think about the time when the bus driver got killed, like the guy who was with them helping them. plant the bus.
Yeah.
The whole time he's going through.
Milton.
The whole time he's going through, I kept telling you, like, why is
he
Milton
here?
with them? Why is he?
Why is that guy with them?
And then he dies, and Polka Dot Man is like, I love Milton. I can't. He was such a great guy.
Yeah.
And Harley's like, who's Milton?
Yeah.
And then she actually ends up calling Bloodsport Milton
at
the end
the
because
end.
she really doesn't know who anybody is.
No,
like,
and she doesn't
care.
care. She's
But
not really that connected
It's
to people.
those things, though, that give it that wonderful flow.
Yeah.
But then it can still, and this is our second point, is character development being so much better than the first one.
It was so much stronger.
He
in
has
this
those
movie.
emotional beats. I think of
Well, I think the key here was he killed off people in the beginning,
Right
which
away.
was good.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need character development on really anybody in that first group.
No,
And
no,
we
no,
didn't
no,
get
no.
it.
We didn't
get it,
we didn't
which
need
was
to.
important.
They just need to die.
We saw some overlap with like Blackguard and Bloodsport, and it was good to see some of that callback. It was good to see like where some of those connections were when they were in Belle Reve. But like we made sure that we focused in on the people who needed the character development the most.
Yeah, he really only took like 5 people and was like,
It was even
let's
less
get
than
those
that.
people.
It was even less than that.
Yeah. It was
Harley got some more character development
Harley,
with
Flag.
with why she killed the leader of the
I
Corto
loved that.
Maltese. I thought it was great.
I loved that.
Being able to dig in a little bit
Killing
deeper
kids
into
is a
like
red
how
flag.
she how she's coping
Yeah.
is awesome. So
Yeah.
there was
Harley.
hers. There was Bloodsport.
Flag and Bloodsport kind of go together.
But
I guess they've
Flag
got different
didn't
things
get
too.
a lot of character development. We didn't need character development with Flag.
Yeah, but we got to see more of his. Like he actually
He's
got
the
to show
leader
his,
of the group.
but he got to show his good stripes. Like he got to
Sure.
show like that
a little
he's
bit,
willing.
but that wasn't so much. I don't. I guess it wasn't. It was not a lot of background. We didn't need any more background on
we didn't get
Rick Flag.
Yeah,
we
okay.
got a little bit more
Bloodsport we
of
did,
his
though.
good stripes. We
Yeah.
got a little bit more of him being the war hero that we thought he was.
Right, yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
who he served with, the background with Bloodsport. We
Right,
got
right,
that.
right.
But like the people who got like background were
Yeah.
Ratcatcher and Bloodsport.
Yeah, man.
And that's all we needed.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, 'cause
all
they
we got with
got a little bit with Polka Dot Man.
all we got with King Shark.
Yeah,
All we got with King Shark was
he's a demigod.
he's a demigod.
Yeah.
And like, or he might be a demigod. We're not even sure. Like he's a potential descendant of a demigod.
But he's an idiot.
That's all we needed.
Yep.
That's all
We
we
didn't need
needed.
anything
We
else.
didn't need anything else. And then Polka Dot Man, you're right. We got a little bit of a background around like
about his family,
and
how his mother
mom.
experimented on
Yep.
him and stuff,
and
which
where
is
the
good.
polka dots come from. like what they actually
Oh,
are.
it's cool. The transdimensional disease that he has. Yeah.
So, but that was it. We didn't need any more than that.
That's
the
right.
2 characters who we needed actual deep development around, we got.
Yeah, and you know what?
And you had a connection then to that relationship.
You know what's funny? That Bloodsport's background is like the well-done version of Deadshot's background from the first movie, because it both revolved around the daughter.
Exactly
both revolved around leverage with the daughter. But, like, Idris Elba's interaction with his daughter in the prison at the beginning when they're cursing each other out, and it's just like you can see his hurt and his pain, and you can see her hurt and her pain.
Exactly.
And, like, there's still this caring between them, but there's also this brokenness between them.
Yeah.
And it's like he wants to be good for her, but he's convinced himself that he can never be anything good. That he could never be anything good.
Stay away
she
from
needs to
him.
go away from people.
She's better off without him.
And people like him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we get that wonderful arc then of Ratcatcher losing her father, looking for a father figure, and Bloodsport being able to kind of step into that and have that emotional connection. I mean, it's tough to replace Taika Waititi.
I know. How about it? How about that random cameo?
That. It was like I thought he looked familiar when we only first saw him in like reflections in the glass.
He's everywhere now.
Yeah, and then it's just
everywhere.
like, oh, that's Taika Waititi being a drug addict rat, catcher dude.
Yeah,
the Pied Piper of rats.
Yeah,
yeah. It was great though, but that parallel to me, that paralleled. I know we're always jumping back to David Ayer's Suicide Squad, but that's our reference in movies.
Right.
But to me, that paralleled Diablo's, like, you guys are my family. And we're like,
why?
You're not Vin Diesel. Why are you saying this?
Yeah,
What's going on?
And I mean,
like, there's no connection. We don't, you had no time to gain any ties with these people.
Right.
But then we see here, it's the exact same thing, where at the very end, Bloodsport falls and is face to face with Peacemaker, about to kill
and you're like,
his daughter figure.
Snap.
And so you understand, like, they've been with each other now for weeks. Yeah. And you understand, or for like a week, and you understand this connection between the daughter
and how you can have that connection in
such
a short period of time.
Yeah, and how their stories like wove together.
There was no connection over a short period of time.
Right.
Like for anybody else in the other one, there was no allegiance.
Yeah.
Here, Bloodsport sees his daughter in her.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Yeah.
And she sees her father in him.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Right. And it's cute and it's adorable and it's relatable.
Right.
And then when that comes down to that, where they're protecting each other at the end, and he has to protect her from John Cena.
Right.
It's great.
And then vice versa, where she actually
where she uses the rats
with the rats.
Yeah, where she uses the rats to protect him.
Yeah.
Oh man, and rats, man, that's a lot of rats.
Dude, that's.
I gotta tell you, man, my MVP for the movie was Sebastian. He was just
Sebastian.
He was the best. His little his little paw. Like, I think it's because he likes you.
I don't.
I loved Sebastian.
My
man.
MVP for this movie is Peacemaker.
Weasel? Oh,
Peacemaker. Peacemaker is so good.
Yeah,
nobody likes to show off. You're right.
Unless you're trying to do something really cool.
Off is dope as.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
he's right.
He's right. He's right.
He's right.
It's like the best line in the movie.
Their interactions.
Oh, that scene is amazing.
Where they're killing
just
everybody.
Killing everybody.
No,
and then they get
to
the back.
And they're
friends.
Like,
why did none of my men alert me to?
I
didn't see anybody.
We didn't see anybody out there.
I didn't see anybody.
Nobody out there.
Nobody out there.
It's like, oops. And then it comes down. It's like, you killed all the rebels.
Stupid Americans just barging in.
Oh man! So
and Rick Flag's like apologizing, trying to find a way to like. They're good.
They're
diplomatic.
Idiots.
They're idiots, but they're good.
Yeah. So we see great character development, not just because it's like everyone gets a lot of character development, but like you're exactly right.
You get the right amount.
You get the right amount for each person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like Peacemaker, we got a little bit more than King Shark, but not as much as Bloodsport and Ratcatcher.
And that's what they did wrong in Suicide Squad. They gave the same amount of development to every single one of them. We had like
zero.
No. But we had this. What they did. No. You're exactly right. But what they did was they thought this flashback. Whatever that extended flashback was
bad.
That was like it was stereotypic for every single one of them. You got this amount of time on a flashback, and that was your character development.
Yep, with a cover version of some classic song,
right?
And lots of really cheesy, gaudy font coming
Right.
up telling you how many people they killed or how many things they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was bad. But this did everything else. It did all the things that the first one should have done,
Yeah.
and it did it well.
Right.
So we've got great storytelling. We've got great character arcs. And
we got those directly from
Right.
sticking to source material.
exactly, that's our last one. And I know we always talk about source material being failed.
Right.
But
This lived up to it. This was so much better.
Was great.
They're pulling directly from comics.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just around the storyline that we discussed. And
Right,
mixing
right. And they
together
changed things.
The Task Force X going to the foreign country.
Yeah.
Going to Jotunheim, having to have to pull a Black Ops mission.
Yeah.
And then mixing
Same
Starro
framework.
in there. Same framework.
Yeah.
That isn't the only thing. All of their character development was authentic
Yeah.
to the actual characters that they were portraying.
Yeah. Straight down to the ancient name for King Shark. Was
Right.
it Nanawi or Mamawi? Nanawi. I think it was Nanawi. I can't remember. But it's like they even pulled that, which is a really.
Right.
I'm not a big King Shark fan in the comics, so I didn't know it. But reading is like that's like a big fan Easter egg, and like
Right.
all these little things all play in, and they all work together really nicely. And he wasn't afraid. Like we look at a lot of DC. I feel like a lot of DC movies. They sacrifice comic accuracy sometimes for like grittiness.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Mongal was bright orange and purple, and
Right.
You know, the weasel was legit a weasel.
A weasel.
King Shark was wearing jorts. You know, he's a giant
the entire
shark
time,
creature,
trying
like,
to pull him up as he went with
yeah,
his fin.
it's so great. And like he didn't shy away from. Now it's not like he didn't modernize everything. Like
Nope.
Bloodsport had all his cool gadgets, but man, were they super modernized and
Yeah.
super cool, all
Yep.
his weapons and stuff. And then like your favorite part is that they actually did Starro and brought Starro in.
Oh my gosh.
And they didn't shy away. It wasn't like
Thank
just the
you.
ones on the face.
Thank you. And the mistake,
Yeah.
they learned from the mistake Snyder made
Yes.
with the Watchmen.
Yeah.
They shied away in Watchmen from the giant squid.
Yeah.
And then we just saw a movie where they portrayed a giant starfish that sent out tiny starfish to
At its
mind
armpits.
control
Yeah.
people around Corto Maltese.
Dude, and it was it was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't understand how like whoever was behind. I mean, I know they stuck pretty close to the comic design,
right.
but still, whoever was behind the design of it and how they implemented it and brought it into the cinematic world, man,
Right.
it was both like, wow, that's ridiculous. It's a giant starfish, but also like that's creepy.
yeah.
Like when they
It
would
was
suction to their
real
faces
creepy.
and stuff.
The
like,
individual
half-
ones,
the half
individual ones
people?
that were on their faces were
Yeah.
probably the creepiest. When
Oh,
they
yeah.
talked to you, when they screamed,
Ugh.
oh,
Yeah.
it was really bad.
So, but it's good. So
And then the
showing it
dead
worked.
beings
Oh, I
in
know.
the
In
Thinker's
the lab.
lab.
Yeah.
Oh
where
my
it's
gosh.
Like, the dude's
Half
just, like,
a body and
hanging
it's
there,
still
his
twitching.
intestines out,
Yep.
and the face is on him.
Yeah.
And the starfish is on him. Yeah, and he just mentioned like, well, they're all corpses underneath the
Right.
starfish. It's
Right.
like,
They're
oh,
not alive
man,
anymore.
That's creep, man. It was so good, and it proved that these classic comic book villains and themes can still be cool. Like,
Right.
you just stick with them, man. They
Just
work.
do them because people want to see them.
Yeah, and they're so great, man.
Yeah.
He never shied away in Guardians, and I'm really glad that Warner Brothers let him not shy away in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they could have put their foot down.
They could have
and
just
been
said
like,
no.
nope.
Well, I mean, that'd be stupid, though.
I
It's
know
James Gunn.
so Warner Brothers has always been intelligent in their comic book movies.
I knew it the second I said it. I know what I said. I know what
Yeah.
I said, and I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah,
I'd like to apologize to all of our viewers.
we forgive you.
I've made a horrible error here.
We forgive you because of the beauty of this film. Well, you were distracted by the fact that all
my
other
sins
DC
have been washed
films,
over
That's right.
by
the beauty of this film.
of this film.
Yes, by Peacemaker.
Yeah. Now here's the only thing. Here's
Yeah.
what I will put out
Okay.
there just to close this out
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
question.
Yes.
Are we DC blind to this film? Okay. And that what I
Okay, what do
mean
you
by
mean?
that is
Yeah.
we believe that this was a great film.
Yes.
Okay. But is it just a great DC film?
So is it better
or
than other
is
DC
it
films?
a great film? And that is where I think I
Yeah.
mean we believe so. The
Yeah.
critics believe so. Right?
Sure.
But what I'm saying is this just we believe it's so good because it's so much better than DC films, or
Yeah,
does it
yeah.
stack up in comparison to some of the other great Marvel films that we have seen, or other great DC films that we know are great DC films? But because we haven't had one in so long,
Yeah, it's been a
we're
while.
a little bit blind to it.
Okay.
And the reason I asked that is
Yeah.
because I'm blown away by the numbers it made over the weekend. I'm blown
How bad
away
it
by
was.
how bad the numbers were.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you've got a good point around, like, people are so jaded by bad DC films.
Yeah.
We've now got a good one. Are we just reacting to the fact that it's so good, or like reacting to how much better it is than a DC film, but it's actually not as good as we think it is?
Right. It's like when you take a test and you get a 0 on it,
Right.
and the next time you get a 30. It's like, well,
That's
30 is way better
way
than a
better.
0,
Big improvement.
but it's still a failure.
It's still failing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think the answer to that question goes perfectly inside of our verdicts. All right. So verdict time. I mean, we're gonna talk about what if we thought it was actually. I think it was good. I do think it was good. I think its flaws were hidden by the absurdity of it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So think about have you seen when was have you seen Guardians 2 recently?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Guardians 2,
Yeah.
I know you've seen
Not
it
too
before,
long ago.
but like
no, but I mean, I watched it recently.
So Guardians 2 is really good.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of good parts to it, but it's not quite as solid of a film as the first one, I don't think, when it comes to storytelling.
Think anybody believes it is.
No, I know. But what I mean is, like, but we're not looking at it in a blind way. We're looking at it and comparing it rightly to things that are actually good. And I would say the reason why it doesn't land quite as well is that it hides behind its absurdity sometimes. Like it hides behind the baby Groot throwing up and eating M&Ms and Drax yelling about his nipples, which are really great things, but they're also really good cover-ups to not the best storytelling.
Right.
And so I would say I would probably give this an 85 or an 84, like Rotten Tomatoes did.
So you're probably right on where the critics have scored.
Yeah, well, no, critics scored like 93 or something.
No.
The fans scored at 84. 80.
I'm sorry, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Fan score. So you're right on.
I'm
the
probably
fan
right
score.
on the fan score because it could have been better. But it was good. It was good. Like, it was a good movie. And it was a fun movie. And it didn't take itself too seriously.
I agree.
It didn't fall into the same traps that most DC films fall into.
Yep.
So it was refreshing, if anything.
Yeah.
So I would say I'd probably still give it like an 85.
Okay. I think I'm right there with you. The only thing that I would have liked a little bit more.
Yeah.
We talked about being high stakes. We talked about it, like them killing a lot of the Suicide Squad. I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more pacing of the killing of Suicide Squad throughout the movie. The reason why is, so we knew they all died in the beginning.
Yes.
And we saw a lot of that coming.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen, this just goes to what I want. I want Flula Borg.
I did want to see more Flula.
I wanted to see, Flula do something.
I wanted to see more Flula.
I wanted to see... I wanted to see Pete Davidson do something as a villain.
Nathan Fillion. I want to see more TDK.
I would have liked to have seen some of these people do some things. And had they, even if it had been only for a short period of time,
a little bit more.
I would have liked to see them die, but having seen them do something cool before they died.
Yeah, well,
and then it pieced it out throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And then it pieces itself out. And then what it does is it makes it high stakes throughout the whole movie. Because the only times that it was really high stakes was at the beginning and at the end. It was still high stakes, but it was beginning and at the end. In the middle, I never really felt like anything bad was going to happen.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I knew in that beginning battle scene and in the end battle scene, people were going to die, which is still better than 99% of movies out there when it comes to killing off heroes.
Sure, and it can't be an adrenaline the entire way through.
Disagree.
Well, I think he did a good job.
I want pure adrenaline in my veins.
I think he did a good job of he knew he couldn't make a good story framing everyone.
Right, I agree.
So he
I agree. There's
he
give
wanted
and
to
take
show
to
that everybody's going to
die.
die.
There's give and take to that. I wanted to see some of them.
I get that.
I wanted to see some of them do some stuff.
And you get excited seeing people like Nathan Fillion and Pete Davidson.
I actually
didn't
need any more from TDK. I thought that was the best way for TDK to die.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them.
I needed more Weasel.
I
needed more Weasel.
More Weasel?
At least Sean Gunn got to be Calendar Man.
More Weasel.
Cool. Yeah.
More Javelin.
Yep. I wouldn't have minded more
I wanted to see
Mongal.
Savant.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
Michael Rooker.
actually, but I didn't need anything else. Those three specifically, I'm actually like, I wanted to see something.
Yeah, I don't honestly.
Because for those three, we got absolutely nothing.
Michael Rooker, I'm not even mad about though, because his whole like watching it, and then all of a sudden he just screams and like gets in the water and starts to swim away. Had to be the fun because he gets.
It was great.
He gets shown as like he's this tough guy.
Yeah.
He's tough, and he's like, I don't want to do this, but anything to take off time when I'll do whatever it takes. And then he gets there and he's like, ah, he screams and runs.
It's true, but I mean,
so
like,
funny.
I just a
little bit more,
a little bit more.
Well, but again, he could do they could do an endless amount of these movies because you just keep throwing random villains in there, and
and I mean they
showed they could do it.
Yeah,
it'd be great.
Yeah.
So I think altogether, the verdict is this is a great movie, and I still think it's perfection.
I agree.
I'm still going to keep it perfection.
I will too.
It's not going on our list.
Oh, it's not even close to a list.
Not at all. Maybe on our perfection list.
Yeah. There we go. Thanks for listening to the Legion of Comic Correction. Don't forget to check out our other episodes streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on the major social platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Legion of Comic Correction.
That's right. And make sure to check out our Patreon for exclusive supporter specials at patreon.com/Legion of CC. New episodes come out every Monday.
And Wednesdays.
No, just Mondays.
And Wednesdays?
I don't think we can do Wednesdays.
We can do Wednesdays.
All right, Mondays and Wednesdays. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, same Legion.